Rapid reaction sheet.
All right. Welcome, dog fans, to a rapid reaction. The victorious Georgia Bulldogs, Troop and Smooch, letting you know how it all came about. 44-41 in overtime. It was sketchy for a while. We were questioning everything that we knew in our dog fandom, and we were criticizing everybody and everything. And it got a little tight for a moment in the dog show chat group, but we we came together, Smooch, and pulled this one out for all Dog Nation.
We did. We came together. It was a time of great unity. I will say, I know Troop will never say this, guys, but Troop was the bastion of steadfastness throughout this game. I was pretty much ready to never watch football again at a couple of points in this game. And I would say that was pretty much the tenor of the whole chat, which is quite sizable at this point. But Troop was the bastion of steadfastness. We came through it. Troop said the Dogs don't lose fourth quarters, guys. Just came out and said it. And sure enough, boom, boom, boom. And, you know, Troop, I knew when that field goal missed, I was like, oh, my gosh, Troop Brinson is right.
Yeah, we winning this. Yeah. We winning this. And Dogs 44-41. And it was a weird game, Smooch, and I feel like probably you folks' conversations with other friends or during the game was very similar to ours, as everybody was reacting like, "What are we doing? I thought we had a good defense. Our defense is terrible. Our game plan's terrible. We're going to get run out of this stadium.
Right.
We're going to lose 4 games." And Troop was like, "You emotional women."
That's exactly what he said. We have the receipts.
I said, "I'm cashing receipts on you guys."
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly
what he said. If I had to cash receipts, that meant we won. So nobody's really heard about that part.
We're fine with receipts when the result is a Dog's victory over Tennessee, man.
I felt like it was an overreaction, but it wasn't, because you didn't anticipate. Because at one point Georgia had scored 30 points, and I was like, quit talking about Gunnar Stockton. Quit talking about Mike Bobo. Move on. Our defense has not played well. And you had a couple of, I would call them Hail Marys almost, prayers that were thrown up in single coverage, which you really will rarely ever see Ellis Robinson and Daniel Harris get a play like that turns into a touchdown. Those were unusual. Those were outlier kind of things. Now, there are things Georgia didn't do on defense that they're going to have to get better, and they did get better in the second half, or after the first quarter, for that matter. Tennessee scored 21 points in the first quarter, Smooch, and it was 21-7. Georgia added 10 points, made it 21-17 at the half.
Yeah.
And then you felt like Georgia was going to ride it. They did take the lead in the third quarter, but Tennessee, with that big play over Daniel Harris, came back, and they had a good fourth quarter, scoring 10 points in the fourth, and we thought it was over. Georgia was down by 8 points. And then here they come. Gunnar Stockton and his offense, he's threw for over 300 yards. Right. And then, but they scored a touchdown. Then it was the 2-point conversion to Branch. That it was just a beautiful play, a little rub route.
That was beautiful.
Worked out perfectly. Yeah. Tied it up, and of course, they had a little time to get into field goal range, and it was kind of dumb, Smooch. And we were talking about it. Me and my son Tyler were watching it, and I was like, "Just kick the field goal, Heupel." And they tried to get a little extra yards, cost them 5 yards, 15 feet, a little more pressure on your kicker, and he pushed it. He pushed it right.
We got way too cute at the end.
That happens.
Right. Troop, the whole game, our problem was what we saw as a lack of aggression, but an overabundance of aggression cost Tennessee late in this game. Couple of things. Go back to everything you just said. The 2 deep passes, the one to Harris, we were all screaming offensive pass interference.
He did put his hand on his shoulder and able to get leverage.
But I will say this, to make it fair, if that happened, then London Humphreys was borderline offensive pass interference on that beautiful ball Gunnar threw late in the game.
Was that beautiful?
Yeah, you can go either way. And then on the rub route, there was also not a flag called. So
I will tell you about that rub route. I hadn't watched it again, but I don't think if the DB would have pushed up, it would have been he just kind of hung back. He didn't run through traffic.
He didn't run into contact. Exactly.
He might have got a call.
He could have got a call there. But Let me say this before we go any further. Mad respect to Tennessee. We don't respect you guys a whole lot. I know that's kind of the MO for this show, but the Tennessee Vols came to play today. They had a game plan. They stayed aggressive. They lived with the sword. They unfortunately died with the sword for them. But the main factor is those guys came to play, and we were sweating. To say we knew the game was in hand, never. No, we sweated the whole time, and it was a nauseating game to watch. And when someone does that to you, much like Ohio State a few years ago, you say, hey, tip of the hat. That's all you can say.
Yeah. They did what they do. And we talked about it in last week's show that the countdown to kickoff, their best opportunity to beat Georgia would be for Aguiar to go nuts and hit a lot of deep passes and quick passes, and he did. He also threw a couple picks. We predicted that as well, and Georgia kind of righted the ship and ran the ball well. Let's look at the stats just so you know.
Yeah, pull them up.
It's so close. 502 yards, Georgia. 496, Tennessee.
Oh, my God.
6 yards difference. Georgia with 304 passing. So Gunnar Stockton can throw the ball, folks. He showed you he's got some of that in him. He played a very complete game. Yes, 371 for Tennessee through the air. That's troubling, and I don't know if that'll persist through this season. It felt like one of those things where they took shots and they kind of had stuff worked out for them. But they
had a heck of a game plan. I mean, let's just say
they did. Yeah, those first few drives when they were just really quick. Everything was quick. The routes were crisp, and he was throwing the ball in like 1.5 seconds. You had no time to get to him, but he was accurate. He lost some accuracy at some point, and Georgia gained a little bit of a foothold in this game. It kept them in the game, honestly, because it could have been a blowout. It could have been like Ole Miss last year. Two turnovers apiece, but one turnover was at the end of the half, top throw. But it was a big turnover where Gunnar held the ball too long and got a strip sack and turned it over. That really hurt Georgia. But I will say that Georgia did run the ball for almost 200 yards, 198 yards. And they held a huge, almost 3-1 advantage for most of the game. Tennessee did catch up a bit, did have 125 yards, most in the fourth quarter. 28 first downs to 23 for Georgia. Time of possession, Georgia dominated this.
Yes.
They played bully ball a lot. They ran the ball. They passed the ball. They did a very good offensive, or very efficient. 41.28 time for Georgia, only 20.08. So doubled their time possession up. And when you win the rushing game and the time of possession game, and you really won the turnover game because the other turnover for Georgia was just the end of the half heave, but you should win every game. It was just a couple of wild plays that Tennessee was able to convert on and turn them into touchdowns that made this game what it was.
Yeah, if you remember 2022 when Tennessee was probably its strongest before this, right? They missed those plays in that game. They had guys that were a step behind the defense or whatever, and Hooker just happened to miss those guys. Didn't miss them in this game. And then you had the really bizarre occurrence of a Georgia DB in both cases falling down playing for the ball. So not only was it a catch, they were both touchdown catches that were really awkward and ugly not ugly if you're a Tennessee fan, but ugly if you're a Georgia fan to watch. And so yeah, I mean, they're a bit of an outlier. It is a touch of a concern. I was really a bit concerned with the lack of pressure we got on this offensive line of theirs. But like I say, it's the end result is a Dawgs win. It's hard to be too angry about everything, but I think there are things that we'll break down later in this week and talk about. But Gunnar answered all the questions. Gunnar's a legitimate quarterback in the SEC. I don't see how that can possibly be argued at this point. Yeah, are there times when he seems hesitant to throw the ball, and does it cost Georgia? Absolutely. It's also game number 3 this year. And there are times where you pull the dadgum trigger, get rid of the ball. Aguilar doesn't have any time getting rid of the ball, but Aguilar is also 27 years old. And so with Gunnar, I'm hoping those things can be learned because the intermediate and deeper intermediate throws he made in this game, and he made them well. He only threw one ball that I thought should have been intercepted, Drew.
We'll see how the narrative changes because coming in, Tennessee's got a good defense. Tennessee's good. They're playing at home. Their defense has been improved drastically.
Yes.
And you also can't say now this is done. Early in this season, which we were going to hear this time and time again, you cannot say that Gunnar Stockton cannot win in a shootout, and Georgia's got to play tight, close games.
That's right. It's over. You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, and so because he went 23 out of 31 for 304. Oh, that's all right. 9.8, so almost 10 yards per attempt. Beautiful. 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks. He also ran for 38 yards on 13 carries, almost 3 yards a carry, and a touchdown. Nate Frazier came back in with 14 carries for 73 yards. That's 5.2, so he redeemed himself. We saw Chauncey Bowens have a pretty decent game, 12 carries for 32 yards, but the player I didn't expect to come in was McCray. He showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they dusted him.
A lot of I mean, he's not going to run for 100 yards. We had a lot of tough yards, and it was good to see him do his thing.
Mm-hmm. Positive yardage. That's what obviously is his role on this team. If we give you the ball first down, we expect it to be 2nd and 6 when we get the ball back. He's not going to lose 2 yards juking around laterally. And I would say this, Troop Brinson, I don't know what Nate's numbers are, but I thought Nate Frazier made some really good strides in this game in terms of setting up a few blocks and juking a few players and advancing the ball upfield.
I saw one play in particular where he was very patient and waited for the hole to develop, and then he did what we've been talking about. He took his time, found the hole, and then burst through it.
Right.
Again, he had 14 carries for 73 yards. Receiving-wise, Georgia, again, Colby Young was the player that they focused on a lot. Got 7 targets. That was the most of anyone. 4 catches for 73 yards. Just 18.3 per catch. Mm-hmm. And Zach Branch had 6 targets, 5 catches for 69 yards. That's 13.8. And then we saw Humphreys with the big 31-yard touchdown reception, 2 catches, 59 yards. It was absolutely spectacular. We saw good things on Georgia's defense. We saw a couple of things, like we said. I think both of those balls that Aguiar threw were underthrown, which allowed some of that contact and then them to make a play and Georgia to be out of rhythm on that. But there's so much talent back there that you don't think that other teams are going to take advantage of that. It's not a routine thing you would suspect would happen. And just as we had said,
someone attack in that way, exactly. Yeah.
But we knew he would, and it did cost him too. It did. He made just the throws we thought he would, and I was still waiting for that 3rd pick to come up because we predicted 3 picks. He did have 2 interceptions, but all in all, it's one of those games that it doesn't define your season, but it's a beginning. And you can always pull on a game like this.
That's it.
Where you were down 8 points and just a couple minutes left, and you thought that everybody was like, okay, well, what's going to – the chips are down right now. And Georgia's going to have to do a lot right. They're going to have to stop Tennessee, get the ball back, and then they're going to have to score and then stop Tennessee again. And they were able to do it. They just executed when they had to.
Perfectly said.
And we always talk about Georgia wins 4th quarters, and Georgia, even though Tennessee fought in the 4th quarter, which a lot of teams don't. A lot of times Georgia just puts the, like we said, walks you into deep waters. You drowned, and they walk away with the win. And you say, oh, we held it close for 3 quarters, and we feel good about that. Tennessee continued to fight, and Georgia had to reach down a little deeper.
Yes,
but that defines a season, and it kind of you can draw on that. In the weeks to come, when Georgia should get better as a team, but they have some huge games on the horizon.
I think that's what happened, Troop. I think that's what happened with the second Tennessee interception. When Georgia intercepted the ball for the 2nd time, I think that the Tennessee of years past folds there, and Georgia went really conservative, ended up settling for a field goal, almost seemed as though they were trying for a field goal, just kind of went real conservative there. And then, but Tennessee didn't lay down. They got right back up off the mat, and they started punching again, and they landed a haymaker, and that happens. Yeah. So if you're throwing punches, you may land one, and they did. And we had a ball game all of a sudden.
Yeah, we were on a group chat talking, and I was like, fellas, and we were kind of back and forth, feeling in our feelings a little bit, but I kept saying, we're killing them in time of possession. We're killing them in the overall running statistics.
That's true.
We're going to win this game. As long as we hang on and nothing crazy happens in the very end, we got a good shot to win this game because Georgia wins 4 quarters. When you got those in your favor, statistically, you rarely lose those games. But Georgia was an eyelash away, of course, a 2-yard field goal away from losing this game. And, those aren't easy to make. I mean, they're really not. But, if you say, well, Georgia got lucky, well, Georgia stopped him and made it. He didn't kick a 15-yarder. He didn't kick a 10-yard. I mean, he didn't kick a short, not a 15-yarder, but a 20-yarder.
They got really good pressure on that kick too, and that affects things. It really does.
And so Georgia made him kick one under pressure, and Georgia made the plays at the end, and Tennessee did not. All in all, I'm going to enjoy watching this one again, Smooch,
Whoa,
and without all the
I'm gonna start
anxiety.
that right now, man.
The anxiety's gone. It's just Smooch's birthday, so it's a great celebration for Smooch. Happy birthday, Smooch.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
The dogs say happy birthday as well. I got one from Kirby Smart saying, probably on the Twitter saying happy birthday, Smooch Moncrief.
Tell him thank you, man.
We just wanted to get this one out quick for you, and let's all revel in it and enjoy before Georgia has an off week, before we prepare for the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are looking much better. They had a good game against Wisconsin today.
Yeah, it looked really good. Good game.
Obviously, we got a couple weeks to talk about that, right?
Mm-hmm. Let the obsession begin, brother.
All right. We don't want to draw this one out. Enjoy yourself, folks. You folks riding home from Knoxville, be careful, enjoy it, revel in it, and we'll talk to you soon. This has been a Dog Show Rapid Reaction.
This is the Dog Show with Troop and Smooch.
It's the Dog Show. It's the Dog Show. It's the Dog Show. It's the Dog Show.